We'll start with a 6 points difference, shall we? I'll never forget, I was sat in the Rising Sun pub towards Greenfield, towards Dovestones Reservoir and that kind of area. Back in 2013, 2014, we played Liverpool at Anfield. We lost 3-2. Vincent Kompany swiped at a ball and Coutinho finished it. You'll remember, you were there, Ian. And we lost 3-2. I think there was 5 games to go in the league at that point, and I think we were still many, many points behind. I can't remember. I think it might have been 6, or it might have been 8 points even. Liverpool threw it away. You rewind a couple of years prior to that, United were playing against Everton. They drew 4-4, and then we went cruised to the title. If you actually remember, and I mentioned this the other week, Mikel Arteta scored a goal in that very season against us at the Emirates to put Arsenal 1-0 up, and they won the game. And we were 8 points behind United at that point with around 6 games to go. And we needed to beat United at home. It's quite weird because you said it yourself. The Arsenal game is that United game of 2012, but this time round, where we're behind Arsenal in the league, whether we'll be behind them by as many points as we are now when that game comes around, that is to yet be seen. But if we are behind them when that game comes around, believe me, there will be a lot more of a ferocity from our players than there would have been if we were miles ahead of them. So I almost not like the fact that we're as close to Arsenal, but yet behind Arsenal as we are going into the game. But I think our players, just like Liverpool in 18-19, will thrive on the pressure of having to win the game. And that, for me, gives us that extra dynamic that I think that City need, and that we are quite proud that we possess nowadays, to get over the line and win this title. Do I think we'll win it? Yes, absolutely I do. I've said it from the beginning. Are Arsenal a very good side? Yes, they are. Are they a good football team? Yes, they are. Is he a good manager, Arteta? Yes, he is. But as I said last time I was on with Adam, I don't want this vitriol against Arteta. I don't want this hatred to grow against Arsenal because they're rivaling us. Because at the end of the day, they're going to demand another gear from us, which is good for us as fans to see City go through the gears and have to really compete to get ahead of Arsenal. But I can honestly see us winning the league title by a couple of points. Drop points against us. They dropped them today. I can honestly see Arsenal dropping 2 more after that as well, and us winning the league by maybe 2 or 3 points. So, yeah, look, I was very happy with how we played yesterday. A bit slow in the first half, as the people said on the vlog, but much better second half. Erling's unstoppable. And I think we've got much more of a winning mentality between April and May than Arsenal could possibly possess now, being inexperienced at doing so for so many years and having become mentality monsters in previous seasons. I think we will genuinely do this title. I think we'll win it.
I'm guessing, Harlan, that the increased volumes from the crowd and the fact that City are the chaser on the shoulder in this particular instance is the reason why you're so optimistic about City's title hopes this season.
Yeah, I think there's that, Ian, which is very, very important, because when to use the analogy and take it one step further in a sense, if you're the man at the front, you're never really going to have a chance to look what's behind you because you've got to focus on the task in hand. If you've got your eyes on first place and you're in second place, you're watching every move, you're studying every single thing they're doing, their running technique for the analogy's purpose, but their mentality, you're looking at their style of play when you're not playing and they are playing. Pep will be watching the way that Arsenal are playing and look to exploit. In performance analysis sessions, the lads will be looking at, the weak points of the opponent that Arsenal are playing as well. I mean, no doubt about when we play them ourselves. But they'll be looking at how we beat our opponents and what Arsenal are doing wrong in their games against similar opposition to beat them when they come to the Etihad. I think for me, we've got mentality monsters. Erling Harlan is a machine, and I'm guessing that he's a big mentality monster as well, because you can be a machine and a monster in the same body if you're as big as he is. But I just feel like with Gundogan doing what he did against Villa last year, coming on and absolutely changing the game, Bernardo did it against Newcastle. I know that was a couple of weeks ago now, but again, that game was going nowhere until he entered the fray for me. De Bruyne is a man that stepped up against Villa once he tied his shoelaces, because that means De Bruyne is about to take it up to another level. And he provided Gundogan with the goal or the assist even for the winner. Sterling was brilliant in that game as well. But we've got the likes of De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva will run all day for you against Arsenal. We saw him against Saka in the game at the Emirates. he was playing left back, but he was getting stuck in. He was doing a bit of naughty stuff as well, bit of dark art stuff and everything, which I don't mind because they do it to us. You've got to do it back. Got to be streetwise and wise to the opponent. And, you've got the likes of Ederson, Kyle Walker, Ruben Dias, who's a heart, he's a lion heart. Akanji isn't someone that messes around. And Rodri, for those that listen to the podcast regularly, that know I've not always been Rodri's biggest fan as a footballer, not as a man. He's a great person. As a footballer, has evolved. He's become a lot more robust, a lot more Fernandinho-like. His passing's more progressive. I just feel like we've got a real unit of players here, Ian, that have got a fantastic mentality, that know when and when not to dig in, when to compose, when to be aggressive. And we've took it up to another level now. And I think the fans can feel it. And I do back you on what you've said there. The away fans feel it at away games because I just feel the players feel they've got to put more of a show on for the away fans when they're away from home than maybe they do at home. Bit comfy at home sometimes, bit more reluctant to showcase the quality at times. I feel like the fans, the players, as a collective, with the gaffer at the top, will drive us home in first place or run us home in first place and cross the line in that position.
So is it just a case of now, as we're sitting here on Easter Sunday, thinking Arsenal have just dropped 2 points, and I can see people on social media, City fans, saying it's in our hands now. It isn't as straightforward as that, is it? With nine fixtures to go.
No, but I think, like you said, the idea of being second and being able to see Arsenal in front of us and know exactly what they're going to potentially do next, having seen teams do it before. Yes, and this is important for the fans, Ian. I'd like to say this to every single City fan that listens to this and those that maybe don't or that might get wind of it. This is one for us all. And I think to link back to what I linked to earlier on and obviously talking about 2012 and 2013-14, I think you look at that and it's easy to go back and go, oh, yeah, we did that. We came back from behind. None of these players played in them games or them teams or in them seasons. So it's not them that were there because the players we've got now weren't a constant back then. They weren't even around back then. Some of them weren't even playing professional football. We were, though. We were. So what you mentioned before about us being the 12th man and using our voices to allow the players nowadays to understand what we've seen before and what they can get out of themselves because of us, I think is the thing as fans that we've got control over. We did it against Villa, Ian. We were struggling. We were flagging. We were lagging behind. Coutinho was the worst player to score at the time that he did, and we managed to dig our players out of it. De Bruyne knew that he needed to boot up again, and Pep knew that Gundogan needed to come on because we told him that he needed to come on. We told him that De Bruyne needed to step it up because we've got a voice. There was 52,000 fans that day that all had the same voice at the same time saying the same things. And I just personally believe that we've got a big, big, big duty to fulfill to allow these players to feel what the likes of Serge, Yaya, Vinny felt back in 2012 and more, Zabba and Joe and everybody else, but also what the team of 2014 felt like, the Negredos, and the other players that were in that squad, the Clichy and the Kollarovs, that managed to dig us out of trouble at times in games. I just feel like as fans, we've got more of a say in this than we believe. We're very distant from our football clubs at the top level now. You see it when you go to non-league. You see it when you go to Latics at Oldham. You see it when you go to Bolton even. That fans are much closer to the players. We can make ourselves as close as we want in a title race, and I think that we need to do that. The players will feed off us, and they'll go on and win it. There is a lot of games. Champions League's difficult. We've got a big enough squad to do them both, to get far in the Champions League, maybe win it if we can get over Madrid. But I honestly, genuinely think that we'll be fine and that Arsenal will slip. They're the only competition, and we'll capitalise when they do so.